Okay, I am apparently live. That is what the overlords at YouTube are telling me. So if you are encountering any kind of audio or video problems, let me know right away, and I'll find out in 30 seconds. But assuming that you're not, welcome. My name is Nick. This is Board Game Brawl. This is our live Q&A session where I answer any question that you have. Whatever it is, I don't really care. Board gaming related, presumably, but it doesn't have to be necessarily. If you want to find out more about me, I'm not all that fascinating. Okay. Hold on one second. I forgot to mute myself. I like to look at the actual feed that you guys are watching because the comments are easier to parse through there. And I'll keep my actual encoder feed off to the side so I see what I'm doing in real time, just in case. Because I just like to watch myself. But so I'm very happy to be here. Q&As are like my favorite thing in the world. It's really like, it may be my favorite part of the channel because I just love talking to all of you guys and gals, and I hope that you guys enjoy it too, and gals enjoy it too. I just call women guys sometimes. I don't know, it's a weird thing, but let's just roll with it. I had a really rough couple of days, and it's part of the reason why there hasn't been any new content from me this week other than a preview, which for Hands in the Sea, which is on Kickstarter right now. Hold on, I gotta fix something while I'm talking. So I had a rough couple of days, just work-related stuff. So I didn't really feel like doing any content yesterday, but that's going to change. Tonight I'm going to pull an all-nighter and put up some stuff, a couple of reviews that... Hold on a second. I'm just fixing something. I like to set my monitor to turn off like after a minute, and it doesn't really work when I'm just staring at the screen reading questions. So, all right, there we go. And actually, I'll go ahead and cover that now. What you're going to see by morning time is probably Rolling Japan from Okazu brand. It's been out for a while. It came out at Essen. It's not actually widely available, but it seems to be trickling into some stores that specialize in hard-to-find Euro-style games. And then I've got some other ones here I'll show you later. Stuff soon to be released or soon to be reviewed. But then Deus, I will have Deus up hopefully tonight, early tomorrow morning, whatever it might be. And then I'm still working on my series. Well, I'm sure someone's going to ask me about that, so I'll wait. But let's start answering questions because I actually fell behind the last couple of times. As always, I'm going to start from the beginning. So if you ask the question first, you get answered first. Okay, so let's go to Dan Friend. What a friendly name, Dan. Have you ever changed your opinion of a game for the better or the worse because of what everyone else at the table thought of the game? Keep up the great work. Thank you, Dan. I have definitely let it sway me. But one thing to keep in mind is that your games that you have are only good if you can actually play them. So while I have a lot of people coming in and out of my group, if there's like a few core people in my group who do not like the game and are not going to play it, yeah, that definitely has an influence on whether or not I'm going to keep it in my collection. Like, for instance, the Demon Slayer Siege of Mount Kunlun that I reviewed maybe a month ago, I played it like 3 times. I would have actually probably held on to that game and hoped that an expansion would fix it. They promised or threatened expansions in the rulebook, but nobody was willing to play with me anymore. It was just such a bear, and I just couldn't in good conscience keep it. So, but if I really like a game, like, I don't think people like playing Tonto Quarry with me, not because it's a bad game, because they don't like the theme, but as you can tell in the background there, I'm keeping it. I don't care what they say. Ramon Limburger says, you mentioned you like Arrow and Flash. Do you also like Gotham? It's similar and really cool. No. I watched a couple of episodes of Gotham, and I have bailed. I can't stand it. I really can't. I love the premise. Well, no. Actually, I'm okay with the premise. And, I mean, I like seeing other sides of Gotham. The city is like a character in and of itself. But, man, it's just so cheesy and overwrought. And it's like, well, here's our chief forensic officer, Edward E. Nigma. Riddle me this. I can't stand it. I can't take it. I do love reading the reviews from the AV Club because they are hate watching that show at this point. They just love to trash it. Oh, man. So, I'm sorry, but Arrow and Flash, love them. Those shows, Arrow really has come into its own. I mean, I love The Flash for this really silly, lighthearted superhero fun, but Arrow has some great storylines. And Agent Carter, I'm actually sorry. I was an Agent Carter hater before it was released. Like, oh, why are we having to endure this show? There's like a bad spin-off of a character that's not in the comic books, I think, and nobody really cares about. That show is phenomenal. The last episode of that show that I watched that came out last week, so good. I really am going to miss that show. Manjula, I never pronounce your last name correctly, so I will not attempt it this time. What do you think is the best way to introduce deck building to newcomers? I tried to teach with Dominion and it fell flat. You need something light. I would recommend DC Deck Builder or Ascension. Ascension is a little bit more complicated than DC Deck Builder because you have another form of currency and there's a lot of like constructs and special effects. So maybe not that, but DC Deck Builder or anything in the Cerberus engine line of games would work pretty well for that. And you have to also engage them with a theme that's appropriate to them. Not that the DC Deck Builder or anything of them like them are very thematic as we board gamers know it, but if people like DC Comics, they're going to be much more inclined to play it. So at least if the artwork looks appealing to them. Justice. Okay. I think to them it looks... Yeah, okay. That's a continuation of your question. Yeah, but go with that. Adam Bishop says, hey, Nick, if you had to pick between Viceroy or Tricarian, which one would it be and why? Well, I guess I made that decision because I backed Viceroy, but I did not back Tricarian. And I think actually Tricarian, like I said in my Kickstarter update, looks interesting. I really think the theme is a great idea, but it really looks like a very heavy, dry Euro game. Maybe not very heavy, but those games for me are hit and miss. Or some of them I think are great, and a lot of them I don't. So I'm not willing to back it on Kickstarter, but I'll certainly give it a shot when it comes out. I might even pick it up at retail for a little bit cheaper. I don't really care about any Kickstarter extras on that one. So for me, I'd pick Viceroy, but I wouldn't, disagree with your choice if you went with Tricarian. Sorry, you probably want something more definitive than that, but I don't have it. Salvatore Ruffalo says, hello, Nick. What do you think of the Coin series games from GMT? I would love to see your review of Fire in the Lake. I don't know a lot about those. My impression is that, and I've seen Fire in the Lake coming up a lot lately. I don't know. It just seems like it's being mentioned a lot in random places. But my impression is that those are sort of more accessible war games. Is that accurate? I would be willing to try anything. I'm not rushing to do that, but I know that GMT is very well respected. I played Twilight Struggle, and it wasn't necessarily for me, but it's an incredibly well-designed game. Very, very smooth and efficient. So I would try it. The backlog of games that I have that I'm genuinely interested in, like really interested in, is just too big at this point. But if you want to send me Fire in the Lake, no. But hey, listen, it might be fantastic. I just don't know. Jim Borland says, not impressed with Thunderbirds so far. One review from a guy that I don't care for. I hope that you or some others get a chance at the game before it is released. Keep up the good work. Is that released? Or is there... I thought it was coming to Kickstarter. So is there a review of a Kickstarter? 2 guesses as to who did it. No, that's fine. I have no interest in the Thunderbirds theme at all. When I first saw the blog post on BGG about Thunderbirds and that just announcing it, that it would be released sometime, I was one of the few people that was like, I don't care. Please don't. But if you love Thunderbirds, that's fine. And maybe the game itself is fantastic and rises above the theme, but I'm not interested. Guy Manderson says, thanks for your review of Art of the Consortium. I've been playing it a lot. Like it, but it's a bit obtuse. You think? As in the physical layout and components. Any ideas on improving components, etc.? Well, I don't know about improving components. I thought the quality of the components was very high. If you mean like the layout and spread of the game, first off, don't bother with the sheets. They're just too cumbersome. They come with like player aids that were supposed to be mimicking the Small World sheets, I guess, but they're bad quality and they still don't have all the information you need. So maybe better, smaller player aids would be a huge improvement. But everything else, it's tough to say what you could do. I don't like the generic mana crystals, so there might be something better with that. It's almost, I think it would probably be better. That game, they should have planned on having trackers, because it's taking up so much table space that just having like little peg things or just tokens to move up and down might have been better. Because it doesn't seem like people have a ton of gold or mana at a time. Well, sometimes they do. I don't know. It's tough. I think Argent is one of the games you have to accept that it's just going to be a big sprawling mess of a game. A really fun mess of a game, but that's just what it is. Fenner27 says, "Hey Nick, I like your beagles. My wife and I are thinking of getting pocket beagles. What do you think?" I like pocket beagles. I see them at the park a lot. I go to a couple of different dog parks. I don't know. I think the size of normal, quote unquote, beagles is great for me. But I don't have a problem with pocket beagles. I think they're adorable. They seem to have a different temperament. To me, the ones that I've met, they seem to have a much quieter, more demure. I don't know if I should be referring to dogs as demure, but that's just what it seems like to me. They don't seem as like kind of crazy, but I think that's because, if I was going to guess, I think pocket beagles were specifically bred to be more of to have the appearance of a beagle, but kind of not to have all the typical instincts of a beagle. So the normal sized beagles are more like hunting dogs, so they have a more vibrant personality. But I like all beagles. I'll say that. See, I even wore my shirt. So and congratulations. I love beagles. I think they're fantastic. So I think you'll be very happy with them. Where was I? I keep losing my place. Guy Manderson says, "What games are you most competitive about?" Oh, certain games I just get really competitive about. I think if it's a very brain burnery game, a game that has a lot of thought and strategy into it. If I think there's a chance that I'm going to win, I take it much harder if I do lose, because I feel like I put a lot of effort into it. If it's a game that's just very light and dice rolling and who cares, like King of Tokyo, I might get irked, but I don't really care. But I've gotten upset at seasons a lot, because sometimes in seasons you can put a lot of work and effort into it and then think that you're going to be doing very, very well, maybe not winning, but doing very, very well from the second year into the third year, and then someone just pulls off some combo that's just like obliterates you. And that can be kind of frustrating. So situations like that, I think, are when I get most competitive. Fenner27 says, "Nick, do you have a favorite deck builder to solo? I love Thunderstone Advanced, but it's a pain to set up. With DC Deck Builder fix that issue." Could you play DC Deck Builder solo? I guess they have that. Well, you could do that the cooperative mode, which I don't recommend. But maybe solo wouldn't be so bad. Oh no, I did try that solo. That's right. Don't do that. But yeah, I agree. Thunderstone Advanced is a pain to do solo. I've done that a couple of times. Boy, I should review that game, I guess. Deck Builder solo. Well, Legendary. Legendary setup is arguably even more of a pain than Thunderstone, but it works really well solo. Because you have less cards that you have to deal with, and it's just very, very fast. So I like Legendary solo a lot. It's the primary way that I try out every new Legendary expansion before I review it. I always play it at least once with people, but because I want to try every single combination of the new stuff that comes out in all the different masterminds, it's just more practical to do it solo, and then I get a taste for them and a feel for them and how they work. Greg Berardo says, "Wife and I just got Seasons. Love it. Any advice on learning the cards, combos, etc.?" If you haven't already, I would definitely recommend playing with the pre-card or the pre-game setups that they have in the instruction booklet. Not that it's strictly necessary, and you definitely should graduate to the actual prelude, the drafting, but just playing with the setup cards, it works pretty well. It gives you a taste for what the game is like. You figure out how things interact, and then introduce more cards, and definitely get a lot of plays under your belt with the main game before you go on to the... Well, not definitely. You could get the expansions, but if you really want to take the time to... Excuse me, I'm all verklempt today. If you really want to take the time to learn the cards as much as possible, then yeah, play the game out a bit and then get the expansions and learn what the cards do. And there is a variant for Season Solo on BGG somewhere that might give you a better idea. Do it without your wife knowing, and then you play it like 10 times solo, get incredibly good at it, and then crush her the next time you play. That's my advice. No, don't do that. Jim Borland says, "Did you like Barry Dublay's comments about BGB? His segments make me laugh." I hate that guy. He's absolutely the most annoying. No, I love him. I love Barry. He's great. I think he's probably the best, other than mine. No, he's like the best contributor segment, I think, on Board Game Breakfast. I liked his old segments too, and then he just kind of disappeared for a while, I think. So yeah, it was fantastic. I laughed quite a bit. He loves to pick on me for my shelves. I loved his comments about Tom's beard too. That's really great. Fenner27 says, "Are you going to get Batman Love Letter?" Yeah, but because I need to review it is why. I know there's one or two cards that are different, but it's not going to be that different, and it's kind of silly. So I think I just want to talk about it and review it, but yeah, I will. Joe Wiggins, Coke or Pepsi? Coke, man! Although it's funny that I was listening to the Cracked podcast, which I know I mentioned a lot, and they were talking about there's a whole episode about food, and the food industry's like subtle, just basically making us addicts for food. And they talked about how Coke may have won the soda war, quote unquote, but Pepsi won the ultimate war because Pepsi lost as far as soda goes, but Pepsi owns like everything else, like the fast food chains, food brands. They just like dominate huge sectors of the food market, to where you may think that Coke is like a powerhouse in the soda industry, but that's about it. He also says, played Alchemist this weekend. Crazy. Got it played yet? No. I have it sitting over here somewhere. Yeah, because I was here. I'll show you guys this. Well, no, I'll just show you this for now. But yeah, here's Alchemist. Now, I've had a couple opportunities to play Alchemist. I've actually had it since last Saturday. Not this past Saturday, but the one before that. It's very daunting to me because I know it's a very complex game. I know it's tough to learn the app together with that, and then to play with the full complement of players, which is what would have happened each time. I am going to try my best to actually set it up tonight to play with my group tomorrow ahead of time. We'll see. But 2 hours on the box means it's probably a 3-hour game, which is daunting. Fender27 says, Nick, do you rate viticulture as easy to learn worker placement? I saw a playthrough of it by Rodney. It looked really fun. Yeah. I mean, I think the Lords of Waterdeep is probably a little bit easier, but viticulture is pretty easy. Now, Tuscany, all bets are off. That is really complicated the more you throw in there. But just the base game of viticulture, or the newest edition of viticulture, it's pretty easy to learn by about like the third round. Everyone at the table, even if you have all brand new players, so worker placement should have a good handle on it. Ricardo Lopez, recommendation. I know these are two different games, but Alchemist or XCOM, they are so different. And I haven't played Alchemist yet, but I know a lot about it. It's very different. I can't. All I can tell you is that I have played XCOM. I've reviewed it. I really, really enjoy it. It's staying in my collection for now. I can see that game getting played out is the reason I say that. But I don't know about Alchemist yet. Ricardo Lopez, what is the best Feld game in your opinion? In my opinion, I'm going to say for right now, Trajan, which I don't own, but I own Bruges. And I think Bruges might be a little bit better for me and my taste, but I haven't played that enough, whereas I've played Trajan like 3 times and I really, really enjoyed it. I don't know why I don't own it. I never got around to it. Because there's at least 2 people in my group that have it, and maybe that's why I didn't feel the need to. But Trajan, super dry, no theme, total point salad like he's known for, but I love that Mancala mechanism in that game. It's just so better. I think it works better than 5 Tribes, actually. And it's just a slick game, and I've won 2 of the 3 games that I played thinking that I was losing horribly the whole time, so I guess that kind of peppers my opinion. Fender27 says, Nick, do you have a favorite dungeon crawl type game to solo? I guess not. I know that I played solo Shadows of Brimstone because I had played Shadows of Brimstone a couple times with my group, and no one wanted to stick around and play the town section in between missions, so I had to do that solo. And it worked okay, but you still have to take control of more than one character. I'm not sure. For some reason, I'm just blanking on what might be a good one. Maybe I'll come to me later. Joe Biggin says, really Euro'd up my collection. Yeah, you really did. Wow. I really need to get around to playing Terra Mystica. I almost bought it. Veteran27 says, what is your favorite Studio Ghibli film? Mine is My Neighbor Totoro. I don't know if I want to reveal that right now for a specific reason. I'll give you a few of my favorites, and I won't classify them. Princess Mononoke, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, Spirited Away, but My Neighbor Totoro is probably at the bottom of my list of favorite Ghibli films, which is not to say that it's bad, because I would make a very strong, compelling argument that the worst of the Studio Ghibli films is leagues better than most animated movies and normal movies. That's how great they are. But for me, My Neighbor Totoro was just kind of dull, but I didn't watch it as a kid. That definitely, I think, is more of a kid's movie, which is not to knock anyone as an adult who likes it, but maybe you have to grow up appreciating it more. But coming to it completely new in like my 20s, I was like, meh. There wasn't like a lot of action or any action really like you would see in Princess Mononoke. Greg Berardo says, any thoughts on the D&D co-op board games Ravenloft, Shardalon, Drizzt? As a matter of fact, I have Castle Ravenloft sitting over... Oh, I should probably show you guys this. Hold on a second. My place is kind of a disaster right now. So, I've got games over there, and games on my table, and games... that whole 2 tables full of games, and then, of course, my disasters of shelves. So... yeah, anyways, that just made me think of that because one of the games over in that pile is Castle Ravenloft, which it's interesting. I owned a copy of Castle Ravenloft before I was really into board games. I picked it up when I was still playing D&D because I was like, wow, it's D&D board game. That looks really interesting. And look at all those miniatures. It's amazing. And we can use the miniatures in the terrain for D&D, which never ended up happening, and I could never talk my D&D group into playing it because they're like, why would we do that when we have D&D? Well, just play D&D. We're not going to dedicate a night. Eventually, when some people were leaving the group and we kind of had to stall the campaign we were doing for a night, we played it. And the thing was, I ended up playing it twice before I got rid of it. It never went over well. First off, for me, I don't think that I was used to what a dungeon crawling board game was. I kept wanting to put the template of D&D onto it, and that's not what it is. And it was also incredibly hard, which might also be our inexperience as board gamers as opposed to RPGers. But it was just so hard, and people got discouraged and no one wanted to play with me anymore. So it was actually my very first trade on Board Game Geek. When I did get into board games, I traded it for Legendary, which was altogether a phenomenal trade. Because I love Legendary to this day. Still have the same set. But I wanted to get Castle Ravenloft again, because Temple of Elemental Evil was coming out. People were super excited about it. I probably want to review it. I'm like, well, maybe I missed something. So it was actually in the last math trade I took part in, I got Castle Ravenloft for a very good deal. I can't remember what it traded for what, but it was something that was definitely out of whack in my favor. So I have it. I'm going to try to play it again, and we'll see if I have a better reaction this time. And hopefully in time for Temple of Elemental Evil. Joe Wiggins says someone organized their shelves because Barry DeBlay got to. No, I did that a few days ago. You can actually see it in my Hands in the Sea preview. And it's still not organized. That is not organized. It's a disaster. But I did my best. I actually tried for the top the top 2 sections of each of the main shelves. I tried to put my top 100 going from one end back. With some success. Because of box size, it didn't quite work out that way, but you could tell something. The one right behind me with Seasons, that whole shelf is pretty much my top 10 with 10 through 20, or 1 through 20. Like Seasons, Cosmic Encounter, Eldritch Horror, Small World, Dead of Winter are all my top 5, I think. Yeah, I think so. And then Imperial Settler, Shadows over Camelot, the only ones, and Robinson Crusoe. So, yeah, I tried my best. It kind of worked. But it still needs a lot of work. Ricardo Lopez says, do you think Dead of Winter is like Robinson Crusoe in terms of extreme difficulty? Really good job. Thank you. No. Robinson Crusoe is way harder, I say. My opinion. I think Robinson Crusoe is much more difficult. I'm starting to go through the Voyage of the Beagle expansion, finally, and I'm noticing it's just as difficult as I remember, because I haven't played Robinson in a while. Dead of Winter is difficult, but it's such a variable difficulty depending on the scenario, depending on whether you have a trader or not. I know that even if you don't have a trader, people might think there's a trader, and in some cases that's like the same thing. But still, I think it's much, much easier. Banner27, Nick, did you like the episodes of Flash lately where they show Grodd? Yes. I understand that it's super cheesy, but I had a nerd moment. Not that I was ever a huge Flash fan or a Gorilla Grodd fan, but it's just so great how, when Reverse Flash dragged that guy down to the sewer. I'm excited that they're actually going to have a CGI gorilla on the show. How about that? On TV. I'm loving the lightheartedness of Flash. Let me put it that way. Joe Wiggins says, how do you buy expansions? Very, very simple. If I love the game, I get the expansion. If I am so on the game, someone would have had to have told me that the expansion saves the game. Like, I held off on buying Core World until I get it in the expansion for a good deal, so I haven't played it yet, but people said the expansion essentially fixes and makes Core Worlds. But if I love the game, I'm going to get the expansion, no doubt about it. With some exceptions. Like, I haven't gotten nearly every single deck for Summoner Wars. I'm getting Summoner Wars Alliances, but that's because it's a big master set. It seems like economical to me. But I haven't tracked down all that because I don't play it enough, but it's still a game I love. Greg Berardo says, any thoughts on Legends of Andor? I own it. It's great. I have kind of been hesitant to get it to the table too much, knowing that it's the expansions, which have finally been announced. A new publishing company is picking up the English expansions for Legends of Andor, and they'll be coming out within like the next year. I can't wait. Probably at Gen Con. But I've been waiting for that because I had heard that Legends of Andor is great, but then you burn out on it very quickly because there's not enough content. So maybe I'll start playing it again now. Sho Sugimoto says, Nick, what do you do outside of board games? Do you mean for a living or for fun? For a living, I work in a printing and marketing company. And for fun, I organize board games. Board gaming has consumed a lot of my life lately, but I play games. I just got a tablet from a very generous viewer, the Nexus 7. So I've been playing a lot of apps on that, board game apps, though. Gosh, I can't get away from it. I watch a lot of TV. We've been talking about that in this Q&A, and I'm trying to get more into reading because I've gotten out of reading quite a bit. So it's sad. I watched a lot of Oscar nominees lately. I watched Whiplash and Birdman right before the Oscars. I didn't watch the Oscars, but I just wanted to watch them the day of. It felt appropriate. This is the night before. People in my group were telling me how amazing some of these movies were. I liked them both. I thought that Birdman had some iffy moments, but I thought overall it was very good, very interesting, very dynamic movie. It wouldn't have been my pick for Best Movie of the Year, probably. I haven't seen all the nominees, but it was really interesting. And Whiplash was fantastic. That, I think, was much better than Birdman. Wow. I don't know what to say about the movie, but really, really good. Check it out. And it's got a lot of cursing if you care about that. But it was interesting, too, because I watched Whiplash first, then I started watching Birdman right afterwards, and Whiplash is all about drumming, and Birdman's only soundtrack is drums, like right off the bat, so it's very strange. Joe Aiken says, what's the new show about? I mean, might as well mention it here as opposed to making us wait till July to see it. No kidding. I don't know. I wanted it to be a surprise. Does it matter? Do you guys care? Do you want to be surprised or not? It's not like it's a huge deal, okay? I feel like I'm blowing it up too much because it's been delayed so much, and you're going to be like, oh, this was it? But, okay, do you want to be surprised or not? I'll ask you. Zach McKinney says, when can you see a review for Fury of Dracula? I'll do it eventually. I'll get to everything on my shelf, hopefully, eventually. It's just a problem of you can't get it. Like, I've put off doing my Queen's Gambit review, Star Wars Queen's Gambit, for the same reason, because you can't get it anywhere, and I feel badly about that, you know? I mean, it took a lot for me to get it, and it's a beat-up, worn-out copy. So you can get it, okay? You can get both these games if you're willing to spend the time and money, I guess. But I feel badly doing that, you know? Maybe, but if you guys want me to do it, I'll do it. But again, still, I have to think about new games first. Veteran27, Nick, how's... come on. Here we go. Veteran27 says, Nick, how is your watching of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure going? I am only on episode 2 of that show. Have you seen Parasite the Maxim? It's like aliens. Is Parasite the Maxim just Parasite? You're spelling it the same way. Because I used to read the manga of Parasite with a Y about the body snatching thing that goes in the dude's hand. I like that a lot. It's really brutal, and the artwork is not what you expect from manga. It's more of a traditional style of manga, actually. I liked it a lot, but I never finished reading it. I got pretty far into it, though. I had like 7 or 8 volumes. So I might actually go ahead and watch that. I know a live-action version is coming out soon, too. I guess it had a renaissance because I was reading that manga back in the it was like 1999, 1988, 98, and that means that it had been out in Japan probably for like years before that. But I am up to the Egypt arc of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which means it's like episode 25 of Stardust Crusaders. So I'm like 53 total episodes in. I may do, well, I have some pretty strong thoughts about it. I I like a lot of things about it. It shows its age. It shows its age in the crass, not funny jokes. It shows its age in the tremendous amounts of sexism. Just horrendous in some instances. Like there's one of the main villains of the show was like a woman. Not like a woman, she was a woman. And she's really powerful. And I was like, oh, great. And finally, there's a female character that's really strong and powered. And then, like, of course, she starts hitting on the main character in the middle of the battle, like, oh, you're just my type. Like, oh, come on. And then it ends up where they defeat her, and it's kind of hard without going into details. They have, like, these phantom things called stands that they fight each other with. And they defeated whatever happens to the stand happens to the body. So they defeated the stand in such a way that, like, it knocked out all of its teeth. And same thing happened to the female, and they finally got the female in sight because she was like away from a distance, using her stand from a distance. And when they got her closer, one of the characters was like, the character's like, is she good looking? And the character's like, oh man, all of her teeth are busted out. Don't even bother looking. And that kind of stuff is rampant in that show, and it's really disgusting. And it's hard to get over. It's hard to take it in a lighthearted manner. It is a product of its time because this manga came out in like the early 80s, I think, or 80-ish. But it's tough. It's tough to get through that show sometimes. I don't know. Joe Wiggins says, what's your guess for the theme of the next Flat Hat Crossroads game after space? I don't know. They'll probably do something stupid and trite like they're doing with space. I'm very mad that they didn't go with Summer Camp from Hell and Samurai. Like, those are super interesting. So many people chose space because, like, we don't have enough space games? I don't know, man. I don't really care. I'm kind of bummed about that. Man, hopefully they choose something even more off the wall. I want something like The Mist, where they're trapped in a grocery store with giant Cthulhu monsters outside. John McGinnis says, Nick, what is your favorite historical war game that recreates an actual battle or war from history? I don't like a lot of those games. I'll say Twilight Struggle. How about that? If I had to pick another one, I don't think I have a choice. I never really played a lot of those games. Joe Wiggins says, what's favorite type of food? If you went out to eat somewhere, what makes you happiest? Breakfast foods. I love breakfast foods of all types. I love cereal. Boom! I said it again! No, I love cereal. I love sausage, egg, cheese, pancakes, waffles, French toast. One of my favorite foods in the world, even though it's terrible for me, but I've eaten so many of them I could probably fill a Mack truck, is the sausage, egg, and cheese croissant, which from Burger King. Burger King's lunch and dinner menu is garbage. Like, it's literally like putting a garbage can on someone's table and saying bon appetit. But their breakfast menu is amazing. Let's see. Joe Wiggins also says, how do you feel about collectible games like X-Wing, D&D, Attack Wing, Dice Masters, LCGs? I just avoid them for now because they tend to detract from board gaming as a whole. It's give and take for me. I just gave up on Netrunner. I got rid of my Netrunner set last week, just like Tom. It's just a coincidence Tom talked about it this week too, because it was a fantastic game I was never playing. It sat there like a lump, mocking me. I never bought a single expansion for it, and I really feel that even though the base game was fun, it was made to be played over and over again with more sets competitively. It's not me. I got rid of my D&D Attack Wing as well. I reviewed that. It's fun. Again, I just didn't want to buy into it. I could not dedicate myself to it. Dice Masters, I'm in and I'm staying in, but I'm not doing a lot with it. I've probably bought like 10 booster packs of that over the course of time between the two sets, and I've bought each starter set, including Yu-Gi-Oh! But that is like enough for me. I don't play it enough to warrant more than that, but when I play it, it's fun. So that's where I'm at now. That's the only one I'm sort of semi-following. Joe Wiggins says, House of Cards fans, I'm ready to binge this Friday. No, I haven't watched it. I've heard some bad reviews about it. Excuse me. I have hiccups. I've heard some people love it. I've heard some people hate it. Some people whose opinions I respect a great deal have a very hard time stomaching that show. So I'm kind of on the fence as to whether I want to spend the time on that show when there's so many other shows that come more highly recommended. When is Hannibal starting up back again? Ooh, I want to watch that. Keith Chop says, I noticed Darkest Night was not in your top 100. Do you still like the game? It wasn't? No, it had to be. I always wonder if I left something off on accident, but I'm pretty sure I didn't forget about Darkest Night. In fact, one of the things I was going to show you is I finally got the new expansion. It was actually like last week or the week before. I'll probably end up playing this solo a few times. It's kind of made to be solo. So, and then I'll review it. I just want to try out each of the new characters. But no, I love it. It's fantastic. It's one of my favorite cooperative games. If I forgot it, I apologize heartily. I won't make that mistake again next year. Joe Wiggins says, we don't care. Sean P says, mention it. Greg Brado says, spill it. Fine. So the new series is going to be called Optional Variants. That's the name I came up with. I know it's not fantastic, but the original name was Not Board Games. So this is better. It's Optional Variants, and it's basically going to be a very, very semi-regular series, maybe once every couple weeks. As you can tell, it's already been delayed significantly, where I do either a review or a top 10 list or some other kind of commentary about something other than board games. So the episode 1 is going to be my top 10 anime series of all time, specifically series. And I know that this is going to be controversial, because I know that there's a segment of the audience that's probably like, don't do anything that does not revolve around board games. The name of your channel is Board Game Brawl, so why are you wasting your time? Now, I actually think that opinion is completely and 100% valid, and I understand that. And I actually had a very interesting conversation with a fan who I let in on this. It was actually one of our Google Hangouts for Patreon. See, you should pledge. Where I mentioned it, and he was like, I really think that it's a great idea, but you shouldn't do it on your channel. That you should actually just make another channel if that's what you want to do. And I explained that, I get a lot of requests from people, like in our Q&A, saying, what other things do you like besides board games? And I think there is an audience to be had for that. I want to use the audience that I have. I mean, it makes sense, right? It sounds bad to say use my audience, but no, it makes sense. I have a built-in audience. Why would I not want to take advantage of that? It's going to be semi-regular. It's not going to be overwhelming the channel, and it's not taking time away from it. Reviews always come first, but it's something that keeps it fresh, and it keeps me interested, and it keeps me from burning out on doing so much board game content. And it can potentially drag in a lot of new viewers who are like, wow, anime listen, what's the rest of this guy's channel? Let me check this out. There may not be too much of that, but there might be. So I think it's going to be pretty interesting. I'm planning on doing my top 10 anime series first, and that's why it's such a huge chore. I'm trying to splice in clips of all these anime. It takes a long time. That is what has delayed it. It's a very daunting task to make the show look good, and by my standards even. And then in the future, I've got like the next 3 or 4 episodes lined up. I'm very excited for it. I'm probably going to do reviews of individual television shows. I'll probably do other top 10 lists. Like I'd like to do top 10 American cartoons. I'll call them cartoons. Top 10 American cartoons. I would like to do reviews of some of my favorite shows. Like I really want to do a review of Hannibal and Banshee and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Most of the content is going to be very positive. I don't really feel the need to make a special episode just bashing something, but I just think it's interesting to me. It's interesting to me. I would want to see it. I want to see something like Tom and Eric have been threatening to do a podcast episode all about stuff other than board games, and I think that'd be fascinating to me. I know Tom pretty well. I know a lot of what he likes now. I don't know much about Eric, though. So I think the whole premise is interesting. But what do you guys think? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do the first episode no matter what. And I'm eager to see what people think. I would guess that it's going to be pretty polarizing, but we'll see. Chad Ferry says, haven't played well, actually, Fenner27 says, Nick, yes, that is the Parasite you're referring to. Sweet. I'll have to check that out. Thanks, man. Chad Ferris says, haven't played XCOM, but the reviews make the app and experience sound pretty good. Is there a game you would love to see have a similar app that controls events, etc.? Space Alert. Well, I'd love to see... There's a lot of games that are very fiddly, like maybe Eldritch Horror. Games like that. Games that just have a ton of components that you need to keep track of, and that maybe have like a race against time type feel to them. I would be very interested in seeing stuff like that. Zach McKinney says... Fury of Dracula is hard to get. I just got mine for under 120, which, given its price on, is a steal. Yeah, Study in Emerald is starting to be like that, and I'm starting to wish I'd bought my own copy. Joe, do you really think Fury of Dracula is going to be reprinted? I don't know about that, to be honest. Greg Broaddus has heard so much about Race for the Galaxy. Is it worth the learning curve? What about the significant other? I don't like Race for the Galaxy. I've played it twice, maybe 3 times, and was underwhelmed by it. It's weird. It's one of those games where I understand why people like it so much, but I just think it's ugly as sin, and the learning curve is really steep. And I know that it can be rewarding, but for me, once I got Roll for the Galaxy, it kind of obliterated any need that I had to play Race for the Galaxy. I know they're very different, but what they both do is the same, and the theme is the same, and it's just, I don't know. But I don't have an interest in it, but I'm in the minority there. People love Race for the Galaxy. Fenner27 says, do you like Full Metal Alchemist? I like the first anime series. I don't have all the manga. Well, you probably see me wearing at least 2 t-shirts from Full Metal Alchemist over time. I think I have 3. No, so you probably see me wear 3. Other than that, I can't say. Refer to what I was talking about 5 minutes ago. Fenner20, I just want to keep people in suspense. Fenner27 says, have you tried D&D 5th edition? No, I would, but it's hard to play an RPG nowadays. Zach McKean says, I know it will be reprinted, but not probably till 2016. Joe Wiggins, Croissant Witch for the win. McGriddle is better. I love the McGriddle, but I don't know about that. Nicholas DePetti says, do you think Exodus Edge of Extinction will be available outside of Kickstarter? Yeah, right? Why wouldn't it be? I would assume so. Exodus is. Cameron Stars says, what's your favorite Lego game? I haven't played any of them. Or do you mean video game or normal? Because I played one of the video games, whichever one came with my original Xbox 360. Or no, just, yeah, Xbox. Which was Indiana Jones, I think. It was okay. I don't know. I haven't played any of the board game Lego games. Ricardo Lopez says, how many games do you have right now? How many are in Shrink unplayed? None of them are in Shrink, I think. Yeah. Because I like unshrinking my games as soon as I get them. It's fun. I put a movie on, I put a show on, and I do it while I organize everything. I like it. It's kind of cathartic. But there's a lot of unplayed games. I'm organizing. I finally decided I'm just going to sacrifice my DVD shelf to, which you can't even see on camera. It's on the other side of the room. I'm sacrificing that to board games. It's going to be my unplayed game shelf. And I'll show it to you, and it'll be a big pile of sadness. Salvatore Ruffalo says, hi, Nick. Great job. Thank you. My favorite Civ builder is Clash of Cultures. Have you played it? What is your favorite Civ game? I have not played it. There's a couple people in my group who swear by that game. They love it. They keep bringing it. I keep not wanting to play it. It's just, I know that Civ games run long, and I've always got other stuff I'd rather play. But one day, I'll probably play it. Nicholas DePatty says, I really like Exodus. Oh, you're just finishing up your question? I see. Cameron Star says, what's your favorite Lego game? If you have ever played one, I'm new to you, by the way. Well, thank you. Thank you for being new, and I hope you enjoy the channel. But I haven't played any other favorite Lego games. I'm sorry. Sean Pisa, I think it's referring to my thing. I think it's a great idea since it's only semi-regular. Joe Wiggins says, I think you have more people that are BGB fans rather than fair weather review watchers. Just saying. Well, I hope you're right. Chad Perez says, +1 for keeping new show on this channel. Okay, I'm not going to read everyone's positive comments, but thank you very much. Let's do favorite cartoons. Flintstones, best animated series of all time, in my humble opinion. I kind of like the Flintstones. Hannibal is so amazing, especially the end of season 2. Yeah, no kidding. Wow, that was like a nuclear bomb. Sho Sugimoto says, what anime or manga series do you think would be great as a board game? I've thought about that quite a bit. It's tough. It's really tough to get a theme to cross over there. I think that Lupin the Third gave it a good shot. Good old college try, and just couldn't pull it off because the rules were horrific and there was just some very clunky things about the game. But thematically, that was awesome if you were a fan of Lupin the Third. It's really tough. I could see an Attack on Titan cooperative game, but it would be tough. Well, just have really huge miniatures. That might be neat. Actually, it could be done, but that's a really expensive game. But Chaos, Chaos Eagle, or what's it called? Cthulhu Wars proved that you could have enormous miniatures, so maybe. Other than that, I don't know. I think you could probably make a pretty cool Full Metal Alchemist game. They had a TCG. I doubt it was good. Cameron Star says, I'm new and I have some questions. Cameron, I scrolled ahead and saw that you got angry. I hope you're just joking, but there's a delay on questions. I'm answering them as much as I can. Joe Wiggins says, Catan movie, does this even matter? No. Jim Borland, and I'll believe it when I see it. A lot of this stuff ends up being vaporware. Jim Borland says, it's your channel, dude. Do what you want. Just put an asterisk after BGG for and other stuff. Cool stuff that I like. Ender56 says, what do you want in life? I just want security and for my dog to be okay and just to not have to worry. I constantly worry. My whole life is like 95% worrying. It's one of the reasons my ex broke up with me and she constantly chided me about it. Cameron Star says, F it, I'm leaving. I hope you're joking, but if not, I'm sorry. I guess you don't know how Q&A works. We're on a delay. Sam the Wise says, have you tried the Numenera or the Strange RPG? Both based on the Cypher system by Monty Cook. No, but I've heard some fantastic things about them. I played Numenera Thunderstone. The setting appeals to me quite a bit. I just don't play RPGs that much. Chris Green says, if a legitimate remake of Hero Quest was made, would you play it? A legitimate one? Sure. And I'm not one of these people that thinks that the new illegitimate Hero Quest should be unplayed. Yes, it's bad, but I think it's a game that can be played. I don't understand this whole like toxic thing. Like I could easily see myself doing a review of this like illegal Heroescape and saying, all right, here's what the game is like. Now, the people that made this game are complete and total scum. Like scum of the earth. Like the scummiest people of all time. The game is what it is, good or bad. It's up to you whether you want to support scum. I'm never going to buy it, but if they send me a copy, I'd give it a shot. But a legitimate one, sure. It's just that I remember Heroescape or Hero Quest being good, but not fantastic, and I wonder if a million other things have replaced it completely. Nathaniel Robinson says, I think it's great to do more diverse content. I agree. Thank you. Agro Craig 74 says, storage solution for Argent. The game looks beautiful, but I can't figure out how to store it. Yeah, get rid of the insert. That's what I did. Insert and bag everything else. I've got that and the expansion in the same box, and it's okay. But I don't, without buying one of those expensive crafted inserts that people like to make nowadays that are all the rage, apparently, I'd rather buy a game for what I would pay for one of those. But without one of those, it's just impossible. But it's a beast of a game. Ender56 says, have you played Minecraft? No. My boss's daughter plays it sometimes. She's in the office a lot. She constantly watches videos of other people playing it, which I find fascinating. I find that to be one of the things that is one of the age gap things that they're generational gap things that I can't overcome. You can explain to me till you're blue in the face why PewDiePie is popular, and I'll understand what you're saying, but I won't get it. I can't fathom watching people. Okay, I'm gonna be a hypocrite here, but I can't fathom people watching people play video games. Board gaming's tune in for my live play sessions. No, I think board gaming is a bit different, right? Because with board gaming, first off, you can have it on in the background. You don't have to be watching the action constantly. And it's people. You're watching people interact and have fun and, say stuff back and forth. And I know that there's a person playing a game on these live plays for video games, but I'm watching a video game on YouTube the whole time thinking, I wish I was playing this. Why don't I just go play this? That's my thought about it. But people, and Minecraft in particular, people love watching those videos. There's like they're essentially like TV networks. People get millions of views just playing Minecraft. It's so strange to me. And I don't really have an interest in playing the game. Nathaniel Robinson says, have you tried San Juan? I've heard of Race for the Galaxy, though I don't know if it is not thematic enough for you. I've heard good things about San Juan. I might be more willing to play that because it's probably not as ugly and icon-y as Race for the Galaxy. A few people in my group have had it and have played it many times over the past couple of years. I just never got around to it. Fenner27, I'm not going to read your message loud because I don't want to seem like I'm pumping myself up too much, but thank you very much. That means a lot to me. Creepy Shadow says, type of theme you feel has been way overdone. What theme, example, zombies. What theme have you always wanted to see more of, or one that has not been done? Cthulhu is overdone at this point. I'm really kind of sick of seeing that. It's really like the go-to for people, and I think you've explored every aspect of it at this point. Zombies don't bother me as much because I feel like they can just be, you can have a lot of different types of games with them. Dead of Winter is an example of that, but that's probably played out too. Cthulhu's definitely played out. I don't know. There's nothing. I would love to see more stuff about like everyday life situations. I'd love to see more games like Funny Friends, which I haven't played yet. I have it on my shelf. This probably wasn't worth it. There's Funny Friends. It's all about relationships and being in relationships and friendships with people and drug abuse and, seriously, and unprotected sex. Yeah, that's why you haven't seen Vassal review it, I think. But I want more games that are like real life situations. It doesn't have to be like mundane real life, but yeah, I think it's really interesting. And I don't mean like the economy. Let me put it that way. Oh man, don't look at me from the side. Oof. Let's see. Sam the Wise says, are you still playing Returning to Imperial Settlers? Yeah, actually, because I hooked my friend's ex-girlfriend Robin on Imperial Settlers. She really loves it. She bought her own copy. And so I can play that whenever I want. And it's a fantastic game. It really is. I love the way it looks. I love the way it plays. It's just so smooth and good. That game I can get kind of frustrated over too if I don't win. I've won a lot though. Joe Bacon says, oh, well, I forget that you... Joe, I'm sorry. I thought about this a lot today. I have not left the Patreon people to shrivel and die, and I feel very badly about this. The reason... It's a very bad situation, okay? So one of the things I did to entice people to pledge on Patreon to support the channel, other than people just wanting to support the channel, which I think most people that have pledged the Patreon don't really care about any rewards. They just want to help me, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. But I didn't want to do things like live Google Hangouts and live play sessions over Google Hangout or over Skype or something. And I legitimately want to do that. I'll do it, but I've tried to get it together a couple times now, and only like 1 or 2 people signed up, quote unquote, and it just wasn't going to work like that. I don't know. For me, I want to have a good group of people. I want to have at least 5 people to do that with, especially with Google Hangout. It's very odd to just talk one-on-one with somebody, which isn't fair, because if you pledge, it shouldn't matter, right? I want to have my Google Hangout, and you're entitled to it. So it's one of those weird situations where I need more people to pledge to have those levels in order to justify taking the time to do the hangouts and the play sessions, which maybe I should have said that in the pledge levels, because I do feel like I'm not delivering on my promise on that, and I feel very badly about it. So give me some time. I'm thinking about it. I'll have to come up with another solution. But I haven't forgotten about you guys. I love you guys. Thank you so much for pledging. If you've pledged, we'll think of something. Crap. Zach McKinney, do you think that King of New York will get a power-up expansion? Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think it sold very well. I think they will milk it dry. I don't even think they milked King of Tokyo as much as they could have. Let me put it that way. What game do you like to play when the group is predominantly girls, says Clarence Neal. One time I had a group that was all girls and just me, of like 6 people total. But it was a role-playing group, and I was just killing some time in between sessions. So I think we played Sushi Go and Love Letter, and they freaking loved it. But I don't know. The women who come to my normal gaming group will sit down and play something heavy. I know that the perception of women gamers is that they only want to play light stuff, but I just talked about Robin loves Imperial Settlers, but Robin comes from a Magic the Gathering background, So any card-driven game that is like super competitive and has like engine building and efficiency, she's gonna love. But there's women in my group who love Nations, and for me, I mean, I don't care. I don't like see a woman coming to the table and be like, okay, we're gonna play this game now, which is appropriate to you. I ask them the same questions that I ask anybody. It's like, well, what kind of games are you used to? Have you played heavy games before? Have you played light games? What do you like to play? And then we'll take it from there. I think that's where we need to get to with gaming, is to actually treat everyone respectfully. Like, you know, I'm reading too much into your question. I know I'm not reflecting on your question in particular. I'm just saying in general. I think that, you know, just treat gamers like gamers. Let's put it that way. Ricardo Lopez says, before your channel, or maybe now, do you see reviews from the Dice Tower, or am I past that stage? No. If you're asking, do I watch reviews from other channels? Sure, I watch the Dice Tower reviews. I like Ryan Metzler's reviews because, like I said before earlier in the Q&A, Euro games are really hit and miss with me, and I like to know what his opinion is. Sometimes, if I know that he really, really loves a game, I'm like, how dry is this? But sometimes he likes Feld, so I like Feld. I like Tom's reviews. I do. Tom's what got me to the hobby, and it's interesting because I've gotten a lot of recommendations from him, and I've been burned quite a lot by his recommendations, which is going to happen. So I have found over time that we disagree a lot, and some things we agree with. Good example, I just watched his Video Game High School review last week and listened to his review of it on the podcast today, and I hated Video Game High School. I think it, well, yeah, I would say that I hated it. I played it a few times and really hated my time with it. I would say by a mile it is Plaid Hat's worst game, and he thought it was a pretty good game, and it's not saying his collection, of course, but he thought it was pretty good for people. I completely disagree. I completely disagree about Carcassonne and Lifeboats, but just disagreeing with someone doesn't mean that their reviews are not valid. I love getting different opinions on things. I love having different perspectives, getting recommendations, finding something new I never even heard about before. There is validity to all kinds of reviews if they are well, I was going to say well produced, not even necessarily that, but if the person who does it is passionate and emphatic and is really interested in what they're doing and puts their all into it and has like either a voice for radio if it's a podcast, or a personality for YouTube, then I am going to watch it and take away from it what I have. I would say that the only thing that I have grown in as far as that goes is that I am much more discerning about just taking someone's recommendation and running with it. I'll still go and look at Board Game Geek reviews and comments. The Board Game Geek comments, and when I say that, I mean when you go and click on the rating of a board game on Board Game Geek and then see everyone's ratings and their comments together with it, incredibly valuable. Take my word for it. Go there, check that out, together with written reviews, with video reviews. Make a mishmash of things and get different perspectives. Look at the other games that people have liked. That's important. Joe Wiggins says, can we finally see that BB? Bugbear? Belly button. No, it's not going to happen. Matt Palmer says, love this channel. Keep up the good work. Thank you. I don't mean to read the nice things about me. It just keeps happening because I'm trying to read things in order. Sean P says, what do you think about Crossmaster Arena? Great game. Beautiful game. No longer in my collection. I think it's really fun, but I never got played that much. People weren't really into the chibi thing. I have other games I feel like Summoner Wars, I feel do that sort of tactical movement thing a little bit better and easier, better theme. And it was just, I didn't want to keep sinking money into it. So I got rid of it, and I actually think I made back all of my money on it because of the promos I had. Shad Ferry says, if you could play a board game with your dog, which one would you pick? Let's see. Assuming she was like anthropomorphic and could like talk and understand and would appreciate themes, I'd pick something about like hunting. Isn't there something like that about hunting rabbits? I don't know. I feel like there is. I'll play the Eat Me If You Can. There you go. And she can play the wolf every time. Ender56 says, I hope your dog is okay. Yeah, she's great. She's actually freaking passed out in the other room. I took her to the park with her sister today, and they So this little like tiny mini park in my ex's apartment complex has like a dirt pit, and what does Bugbear do? Runs in there within 5 seconds, rolling around in the dirt, loving it, going crazy like a pig rolling around in the mud. She loved it. She got so filthy. I gave her a bath when I got back to the apartment, and just like the water was black. But she ran around like a maniac. Every time that she gets after she gets a bath, she runs around the apartment like a maniac. So she's exhausted. She is just out like a light. What was your favorite Kickstarter game of 2014? Well, that means it's probably a game I haven't actually received yet. Well, actually, Argent came out and like it ended its campaign in January of last year, and I got it. That's fantastic. I'll say that. Yeah, I'll probably say Argent. Was there anything else I received from Kickstarter in that time period? I don't know. But yeah, I think that's a good choice. All right, we're running out of time. Let me show you some of the things that are on the horizon. First off, well, I'll save that for last, actually. Design Town, I need to play this at least one more time. It's interesting. Let's put it that way. I already mentioned Alchemist and Deus will be coming hopefully soon. Darkest Night expansion. This just came in the mail today, so it's probably not going to be coming out very soon, but eventually, March of the Ants. It seems pretty interesting. What else? Oh, I should finally get around to reviewing this, which you've probably never heard of because it's not even on Board Game Geek. Guess the Master. Really interesting trivia game. And then, I've been waiting for this in weeks. I thought it was lost in customs forever. I've actually been waiting for like exactly 2 months, I think, since I traded for it. Spyfall. Now, one thing I did not know was that it is only the Russian version. But it's okay because you don't need pay stubs for it or anything. It's as long as people know. I have the English rules. I'm going to make little sheets for everyone to look at the locations, and that should be fine. You don't really need to understand Russian to play the game. So I've already played it several times. I could do a review right now, and I'm sure that gives away what my final review is, but I'll probably play it again just to make sure with a new group of people, and then I'll have my review up soon, maybe Thursday, maybe. Let's see. Let's answer some more questions. I'll go a little bit over time. I know I'm far behind. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sad you're not more excited about your Carry On, says Joe. I'm okay. I mean, it looks good. What do you want me to say? There's too many Kickstarter games, man. I just spent a lot of money on Kickstarter today. Oh, gosh. I don't even want to talk about it. I couldn't pass it up. Sam the Wise says, do you read books? Which titles are you reading right now on your favorite genre? I haven't read books in a while, and sadly. I'm way, way behind. I really want to read David Wong's book, John Dies at the End, and the follow-up. This book is full of spiders. Seriously, man, don't open it. Is a sequel. I really want to read those. I read all the Game of Thrones books. Those are fantastic. I haven't read the 5th one yet. I'm way behind on that. It's funny because I read the Game of Thrones books like as they were coming out years ago, before they were cool, like the hipster that I am. And then the 5th one, I just haven't been in a rush to read it. I don't know. I even pre-ordered the 5th one and got it before everyone else and still didn't read it. I used to like the Terry Goodkind books, but you should definitely stop at about book 6 or 7 before he turns into Ayn Rand. Really. And what else did I used to read a lot? I really like the Mancer series of books, Pyromancer, Aquamancer, Geomancer. I can't remember the author's name right now. I used to read Mercedes Lackey quite a bit. I don't know. She's a bit weird too. Some things I just grew out of. Ender56 says, what is your upload rate? And I mean, time do you upload? Do you mean like how long it takes me to upload a video? It's not too long. It depends on the length of the video. I know my videos need to be shorter, but the upload time is actually very reasonable. I would say maybe a half hour less, but if I do super, super high quality, maybe a little bit more. I've been trying to do higher quality rendering. I don't know if it makes a difference on your end, but the problem is doing the super high quality for rendering means that exporting the video from Premiere takes forever. So I haven't done that whenever I've been in a hurry. Nathan Robinson, have you watched Agent Carter? Yes! Rewind to the beginning of this Q&A and you'll hear me talk about it and gush about it. Do you like it as a superhero story without a superhero? How about its take on feminism? Yeah, it's not a superhero story in the traditional sense. It's a like a noir crime. It's like a pulpy type of science fiction show. That's one of the things I like about it so much. It's like that retro feel to it. And its take on feminism. I will say that they really hit you over the head hard with the feminism issue in that show, which is not to say that it's a bad thing. And one of the things I like is that it was touched on, and that that the main character is really a fantastic, well-rounded character. But I don't think that just for the sake of the show and maintaining and not breaking the fourth wall, I think that the show should have tamped that down a bit, because I think that Agent Carter's herself's actions should, and how she really is such a fantastically strong and interesting character, should be speaking for themselves to some degree. I don't think it's constantly necessary to show how horrifically bad the rest of the agents are. Like the one guy who was like he was supposed to be a war hero. That guy just said, like, he said some comments in the show that are just like, you know what? I'm pretty sure that even people in the real 50s wouldn't have said it quite like that. They would have had some subtlety. Okay? But it's still a fantastic show. What are your favorite games on PC? I don't play a lot of PC games. Rogue Story? Is that what the name of that is? Crap. I'm all the way back at the beginning. I know, guys, I'm way over time. I really want to stop. Joe Wiggins says, if you get to this, I bought Tragedy Looper and can't wrap my mind around that game. Any advice for teaching and running that game? Play the first script. You really have to do that. You have to play the first couple of scripts that they give you, because you'll never learn it otherwise. It's really tough. It's a tough game. There's a lot of lag. Oh, I'm sorry. Top 5 2-player games. I'll do that eventually. Tony Bros, do you know Five Nights at Freddy's? I am not familiar with that. Are you going to get the Crisis 2 expansion for DC Deck game tomorrow? Is it coming out tomorrow? I didn't know that, but yes, I will. How do you do a live video? It's actually surprisingly easy. I use Wirecast, so you have to download Wirecast, and then YouTube pretty much walks you through it. Create a live event. It's not too tough. Bunny Moose Moose is a hunting game I've bought. I think that might be the one I was thinking of. Yeah, I almost got that. I don't know. Had some lukewarm reviews. Taco or Burrito? Burrito, man. Do you agree with Vassal's opinions on Arcadia Quest? He gushes about it. I'm not so sure. I like it a lot. I probably don't like it as much as Vassal, but I really enjoy it and like it. I will say this, and Tom and I had this conversation. If you don't get the Kickstarter version with all the extra characters, you really are missing out. And I hate to say that, and it's one of the reasons I hate Cool Mini or Not for making all this stuff exclusive. And I really hope it comes back to bite them in the ass, and I hope that their numbers start to pan that out, because not having all those extra characters really, really hurts the game. Not having that variety of characters, that is the lifeblood of that game, and only having the few that come in the base game is tough. And once you've played it with all the different characters that you can draft and all the different variety, it's tough to go to just a normal retail version. And I hope that they realize how stupid they were in making all those exclusive, but I doubt it. Because they made money. That's all that matters, right? Doesn't matter if people can actually play your game after Kickstarter. TTT for life. There you are. Got my wife into Marvel Legendary. Any other games you can recommend besides Encounters? If you like Legendary, for thematic, Thunderstone is a pretty good thematic game. Not cooperative though. Shadow Rift. Do that. Jason Taylor says, after Barry made fun of you on Board Game Breakfast, are you going to reinforce your bookshelves? Never! Whatever hasn't killed those shelves has only made it stronger. Ender56 says, what other YouTubers do you know? Do I know personally? I have had email conversations with Joel Edie. But I met in real life. I think it would only be the staff and crew from the Dice Tower, and even then, only the ones in South Florida. I'm very sheltered that way. All right, so I'm caught up, which means that's probably a perfect time to stop. I'm 10 minutes over time anyways. Hey, look, everyone. I love you guys. Thank you so much. This is really one of the funnest things I do. I really, really love the Q&As. It's so self-aggrandizing in a way, if that's a word. And I know that it's just like feeding my ego. But trust me, my ego is very, very small and fragile. I really just love interacting with all of you guys and getting your feedback and hearing what's important to you. It's really the impetus for knowing what I should be reviewing and what I should continue to do and produce. And I know that I should be trying to get in new viewers, but I really think that making you guys, giving you guys an entertaining show to watch and making you happy is like the key to keeping this going, and it just makes me happy. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the time. I'm looking forward to future Q&As. I'll probably just go ahead and just schedule one right after this, and I'll see you next time. Look forward to some cool stuff coming out this week. So long. And here's the awkward moment where I look for the stop button. Very anticlimactic.